Ain't no hashtag on Marcus J, y'all. Live from the Dent Legacy Internet Radio. Strolling. Boy, I tell you, I am a huge Prince fan, just like many of us, and we'll have a whole segment later on that's dedicated to Prince Rogers Nelson. I'm taking very doing short segments tonight so I can play as many Prince songs for you guys as possible. We're going through Marcus J's personal treasure trove of favorite Prince songs, and obviously we're not even going to have enough time tonight to play all of them, so I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of taste of my favorite Prince songs, and I'll share what my favorite Prince album is later and all that stuff. We'll get into a whole bunch of Prince conversations before the end of the night. So if you want to talk about Prince, just hold those calls until we're discussing him. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial to be a part of the discussion. Also later on in the show, we're going to have our sister Jody Smith, our singer, our songwriter, our producer, our entrepreneur, our rapper, our entertainer. She's going to tell us what's going on with Jody Music Mixtape. She's going to talk to us about her new video, Slow, that came out over the weekend. We're going to talk about that. Jody and I had a bet, and one of us lost, and the one that lost has to sing live on the air tonight. Is Jody singing or is Marcus J singing? You got to listen. By the end of the show, you will hear who won and who lost that bet. So we're going to talk a little bit. I teased it a minute ago that we were going to talk about child support. And
can I cut you off for a second and talk about something else other than child support?
You want to? Okay. Hey, you guess, man. The guess.
The
hey, what
governor
you got?
gave 206,000 nonviolent felons their rights back to vote. And I feel that everybody went crazy about that. I was glad about getting the rights back to vote, but that's something that didn't happen 9 years ago when President Obama was running for office. They didn't give that. They didn't give the right, because I applied to get my rights back 9 years ago and never got my rights back to vote. But I received a letter maybe a year ago. President Obama's gone now. Well, he will be gone. I won't get that chance to vote for President Obama.
Right.
You know, but it was just funny to me. I felt that everyone made a big deal about the governor giving everyone their rights back to vote now.
Right.
What happened then?
Right.
You know?
Right. It's funny that you bring that up, Archie, because I'm actually glad that you did. And just as you started talking, I went ahead and pulled a story. So I'm glad you cut me off. It was an executive order that Governor Terry McAuliffe signed on Friday. What did you say? 206,000 ex-felons.
That's a large number, man.
That's a huge number. So Archie, if I'm hearing you right, your issue is, why wasn't this done sooner?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I mean, we can talk about that, Mr. 3375. You got any ideas? Any thoughts about this?
I guess so, because you already know they ain't want Obama to be president, and I don't know what the figure is between whites and blacks, but I'm thinking it's more blacks in the state of Virginia that's felons,
right,
than white people. So yeah, because they know as soon as they would have came out that he would have won in Virginia.
Yeah, well he won here anyway, both times. But that's a good point.
Yeah, it backfired in their face. That's what it was.
It's a good point, and I think that there are a lot of, there's a connection to everything, and sometimes my brain gets a little bit scrambled with regards to trying to connect all of these dots. But allow me a minute. In the 80s, when the say no to drugs and the war on drugs and all of that stuff came into place, particularly about the death of some high profile people as a result of crack cocaine, they decided that they were going to punish people who had crack more so than they were going to punish people who had powdered cocaine. And that was started in the Reagan administration, and it was completed by President Bill Clinton, who signed the order. And so when you look over the last 25 years or so, you're going to find that the number of nonviolent felons in federal penitentiaries began to skyrocket. Now, let's connect another dot. If we're talking about crack cocaine, we're talking about low-income neighborhoods, and we're talking about the hood. A lot of that is black neighborhoods. So a lot of the people who are in prison because of possession and distribution and things of that sort, nonviolent offenses because of crack cocaine, are black people. And so when you look at the number, Mr. 3375 alluded to this a minute ago. When you look at that number, I'm sure if we did our homework, we having a rap session. I don't got the numbers in front of me. But if we did the research, Archie, I would be willing to bet, like Mr. 3375 just suggested, that a lot of them is black folk. And, you know, you mentioned your own personal experience in not having the opportunity to vote for President Obama. No one's saying that you would have voted for him. Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't have. But you didn't even get the opportunity, exactly. and it would have been nice and appropriate, in my personal opinion, for you to have had that opportunity.
That's right.
And the governor of Virginia just signed that executive order. And now these people are going to get an opportunity to vote. I don't know when it comes into effect. I would guess.
Now?
So it's immediate.
Right. Immediate, yes.
Yeah. So they're going to get to vote for
whoever. I mean, they can vote. You have your rights back to vote, not to bear arms, just to vote.
Okay. Well, I can dig that.
I got a big sis is listening in SY. She's giving a shout out to the whole crew tonight.
What's up, big sis?
Hey, big sis.
Shout out to Michelle K as well. Michelle K is saying, hey. Of course, we had an opportunity to say peace to our sister Michelle K. We saw her on Saturday, Legacy on that radio event that we had over the weekend. So she came to fellowship with us. So shout out to her and thank you for being there, big sis. We love you. Hope you feel better. We'll see you soon. Ain't no hashtag on Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. So Archie, can I get to my own story now?
Sure, I was trying to be ready, but I was hoping that you would have forgotten about it.
Well, this other story, I don't know if this one is also close to your heart, Archie. Maybe it is, judging by your body language.
No, it's close to my pocket of heart.
My brother. All right, listen. I'm not going to tell the story. I'm going to let the news tell the story. It's about child support. Take a listen.
Brittany Griner has admitted to being the legal parent of her twins with fellow WNBA player and ex-wife Glory Johnson. She's also agreed to pay child support for the girls. Griner, who makes an annual income of $1.1 million, will pay Johnson, who makes $125,000, $2,516 per month in child support beginning May 1st, plus most of the child care expenses for two nannies. Griner and Johnson got married in May of 2015 and split 28 days later. Of course, for more on this story, including any updates, stay right here at sportingnews.com.
All right. Ain't no hashtag on Marcus J. All right. Here's what I want to talk about. There's a lot of layers to this. Notice the name Brittany. Brittany is a female. Glory is a female. You got a lesbian couple, and one of them has been ordered to pay child support for the other. Now, when we first saw this, and judging by Archie's face, it's absolutely, your face is so priceless to me right now. By the way, you look so confused, but a woman got paid child support to another woman for a child that they had, and we're talking about marriage equality and things of that sort. Glory was the female that had the child physically, and Brittany was the female that, you know, supported her through that. And they ended up not staying together, but they were married very, very briefly. And so I asked the question, is it fair or is it foul that a woman has to pay another woman child support? Now, we're getting some comments on that, but I want to start with Archie and his puzzled face, because your face is just priceless right now. What's your thoughts, brother?
I don't think that it's fair that she has to pay child support. She didn't obviously make those kids or whatever. I mean, where's the father that the other young lady, you know?
I'm sure, and I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure they did what you call a donor,
a sperm bank. That's what they went to.
A sperm bank.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They went there.
So there won't be a daddy, because part of going to a sperm bank releases the donor from any responsibility. Jay, you got something?
Yeah, because when I was reading the article, and they claim that they got it from a sperm bank, but she believes that she got pregnant by her ex-boyfriend.
See, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was wondering, sometimes these women might have a volunteer,
Right.
or might have been in a previous relationship,
Right.
and all of a sudden want to say, okay, now I want to be with a woman,
Right.
you know, or could have been in a previous, like, you know,
Yeah.
bisexual or something like
Right.
that. So was this something they agreed to do
Right.
and said we're going to raise this child as our own?
Right.
Or is this from a previous relationship?
Right.
And if it's from a previous relationship, then no, she shouldn't be paying
Right.
child support.
I think if they went down to the sperm bank as a couple,
Right.
she should pay the child support because that was an agreement that they made while they was married.
Exactly.
But if she cheated and the baby is somebody else, she shouldn't pay child support.
Yeah.
That's just how I look
Agreed.
We're getting a hit from our sister DJ Renee Melendez. She is the person that does our show on Saturday nights, Deep House Sessions with DJ Renee Melendez, my twin, my sister from Jersey City. She's listening to say that it would be the same if they were adopted, if the kids were adopted. And so she's drawn a parallel between, I think, and I don't want to make your point, Renee, you're listening, so hit me back in the same place. But I think what you're saying is, doesn't matter if you are the physical, biological parent, you know, you're the person who agreed that you would, you know, be a parent, and now you're not being a parent financially. So, I mean, what do you think? What do you guys think?
If they adopted, if they agreed to adopt these children together, yeah. If it was a relationship that they both decided to do together, then yeah, she should pay child support. But like I said, if this was something where they didn't go in together with,
Right.
and this was, you know, something from someone else,
Right.
then maybe she shouldn't pay child support.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Hey, you know how Steppin, Marcus J. We got a call on the live line. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
What's good, folks? It's DJ Renee Melendez.
Man, your ears must be burning, girl. I was just shouting you out from the text messages. Thank you for calling. I guess you can make your own. You can make your own point. What do you think about this?
I think that she should pay child support because they entered into a civil union together. They were legally married. They agreed to conceive these children after they were unions. They were married. So, you know, she can't renege now that she doesn't want to be bothered, or I believe they had the union annulled.
Right.
But that would be the same thing as if two gay men who either you know conceive a child through a surrogate or adopt a child together decided that, you know what, we no longer want to be together. The custodial parent is going to receive child support.
Right.
It's the same exact principle.
Right.
You know, and actually what ends up happening, if you really want to go a little bit deeper, is if generally happens in most states are if the custodial parent files for child support and the non-custodial parent doesn't have support to give, or they refuse to pay or whatever, until those funds are able to be obtained by that non-custodial parent, they actually, the custodial parent receives money from, it might not be the same amount that they would get from the non-custodial parent, but it would be something, like even if it was like $25 a week. And, you know, that beats the blank, obviously.
Right.
But, yeah, she should pay.
Okay. I can dig it.
You know, I mean, it's been long speculated that that Brittany Griner was actually a transgendered man who crossed over to being a woman prior to going into college in the WNBA.
Right. Right.
So there's a lot of speculation with this whole story, but in terms, you know, if the kids are here and they were once married and it was conceived, you know, they agreed to this during the marriage, yeah, she should pay. Why not?
Nah, I can
Because if that was a man, if that was a dude, he'd be ordered to pay. Trust and believe.
Anybody want to respond to that before we let her go?
Yeah, that's why just texted me. She said she think it's good that she has to pay. She should be just like DJ Melinda said. That's why I believe that she should be treated like everyone else.
Okay. All right. Renee, tell everybody who you are and tell everybody about what you did on Saturday night for the show.
Well, I'm DJ Renee Melendez, and my show runs on LegacyInternetRadio.com each and every Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. And normally it's a deep house show. I play all house music and, maybe some disco classics or whatever. But this particular last Saturday, I scrapped my entire show because of the death of Prince. And I felt like I needed to, pay tribute to him. Because growing up, he was one of the people I listened to just as much as I listened to Michael Jackson. I listened to Prince. So I just felt like I needed to pay respect to him. So my whole 2-hour block was just straight Prince. It was no mixed music. It was no house music. It was just all showing Prince some love.
I got you. And we played it today in a loop. So I think we played it two times. We played it today. I think starting around 3 o'clock. And obviously the show is dope, and we play it on Saturdays early usually, and then again in the evening. But this week, as a tribute to Prince and some of our other departed singers that we all loved growing up, people in our general age group, I think we'll definitely get some more airplay out of it this week. So, sis, we appreciate you calling. Keep on listening. We'll talk to you soon, all right?
All right. See you later.
All right,
Bye-bye.
you got it. Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. Live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. Let me get a couple of comments in here from social media. One comment that I got, hold on a second, I had it and then I lost it. JR says it's fair if you want to be like the rest of us, then good, for good or bad. That's JR, our brother, used to join us here in studio quite a bit. Our sister D is listening. D says that it's fair. Miss Griner was married to Miss Johnson, and when these children were conceived, so the children of the marriage, and Miss Griner and Miss Johnson were responsible in raising and supporting financially, otherwise, these children. And our brother Hakeem commented that he also thinks that it's fair. He doesn't see how or why it would be considered otherwise unless the children were conceived during a bout of marital infidelity. Which we've seen situations where that hasn't mattered. So I see where you're going, and I agree with you. I'll be honest with you. I was I was with Archie at first when I first heard this story, and I'm also always open to have my opinion swayed and changed. Most people, once they take a side, they stick with the side. Yeah. I think that it's okay to change your mind, and I changed my mind. At first, I'd said, hell no. You got 2 women. How you going to make a woman pay child support to a woman? But then when I thought about it, if she agreed, and if not only if she agreed, but if they were a couple and they were allowed to have a civil union or marriage, whichever one it was, and she agreed that she's going to be there and hold it down, then and it doesn't work out, if I would be asked to pay child support to the person who had my child and I'm not the custodial parent, then I think anybody, regardless of the gender, would be responsible for doing the same thing. And it's funny because, Hakeem and I don't always agree, and Dee and I almost never agree, but I'm certainly agreeing with both of them now. And it's because of their intellect and their positions and the way they articulated them is what swayed me. So I want to thank Dee and Hakeem for making me or helping me see the difference.
I think it's about 28,000. I know about 2,800 a month.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the crazy part. Most people, it is.
Yeah,
and I'm rounding off the numbers, but I mean, Brittany makes like $1 million, and Gloria makes like 100,000, and so I don't know too many people that make that much more money than the person they got to pay child support to. So
because she make she make 100,000. As an WNBA star. The rest of it is endorsement money.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so
she worked for $1 million.
Yeah, she made $1 million a year. So
$1 million a year.
If that's
she's
the difference,
make 100,000 from basketball. The rest of it is endorsements. That's just crazy.
I mean, think about
crazy.
I mean, just as crazy as that sounds. The last year that Michael Jordan played basketball, he made for the Bulls, not when he played for the Wizards, but last year he played for the Bulls, he made $32 million, like in 1998. He made $32 million then, but think about how much money he made that year in endorsements. So that's how you make your money. Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. President Barack Hussein Obama. Black folks either love this dude or they really don't like this dude. I found that the conscious community has some issues with him because they feel like he can and should do more. He did nothing for black people. I personally don't subscribe to that mentality, but there's something to be said about how certain communities have made some strides in the last almost 8 years and others haven't. You can attribute that to other communities putting together a plan to get the things they want versus maybe some of us in our black community just talk about doing it. Mm-hmm. But Black Lives Matter is the thing that I wanted to bring up, and he's had some words for the folks in the Black Lives Matter movement and community. I want you guys to take a listen to this and let's talk about it. Before I do that, got to give a shout out to our sister Melanie in the Shies checking out. What's up, True Fighter? Thank you for listening. You told me you'd be here tonight. You're here. My sister is a woman of her word. Take a listen to our president and let's talk about it.
As a general rule, I think that what, for example, Black Lives Matter is doing now to bring attention to the problem of a criminal justice system that sometimes is not treating people fairly based on race or reacting to shootings of individuals by police officers has been really effective in bringing attention to problems. One of the things I caution young people about, though, that I don't think is effective is once you've highlighted an issue and brought it to people's attention and shined a spotlight, and elected officials or people who are in a position to start bringing about change are ready to sit down with you, then you can't just keep on yelling at them. And you can't refuse to meet because that might compromise the purity of your position. The value of social movements and activism is to get you at the table, get you in the room, and then to start trying to figure out how is this problem going to be solved. You then have a responsibility to prepare an agenda that is achievable, that can institutionalize the changes you seek, and to engage the other side, and occasionally to take half a loaf that will advance the gains that you seek, understanding that there's going to be more work to do, but this is what is achievable at this moment. And too often what I see is wonderful activism that highlights a problem, but then people feel so passionately and are so invested in the purity of their position that they never take that next step and say, okay, well, now I got to sit down and try to actually get something done.
Ain't no half step on Marcus J. All right, now basically, if I'm paraphrasing, Jay, what the president just said, I think he said, y'all do a whole bunch of screaming just to get in position to get what you want, and then when you get in that position, you don't do nothing.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, is that what he said?
That's exactly what we've been talking about every time we talk about Black Lives Matter. Even the killing in the streets in Richmond, like, we have all this bark. We have all this bark, but we never act on it, and that's basically what he's saying. We start these groups, we do all this stuff, but we don't continue with it. We just do it for like 2-3 days and we just stop. That's basically, he's right.
What you think, Danielle? You hear our president.
I was kind of talking earlier today with Archie just about this. Like, I was telling him, like, I'm going to try to sum it up because I can get real deep with this, right? Like sometimes, listening to some of these issues, and this got part of my MS going, and this kind of remind me of when I was last sitting here and we were talking about these issues and all, and I remember it was something, I can't really particularly think about it, but it was some issue you had brought up, and I remember you kind of cued me in to see if I wanted, because you could see that I was feeling like I wanted to talk about it, but I kind of was like, no, because it was like my mind wasn't working fast enough to be able to talk about it. But I was just like, yeah, like I was roaring all up in my head, but it couldn't
Come on
speak,
out.
fast enough. But, the militant in me was like, but but it's like, it's so much that I want to be involved in and speak on, but the original Danielle can't handle so much.
Right.
And I used to say the MS Danielle, but see, now I got to say, I promised one of my new friends, I'm going to stop referring to myself as original Danielle, MS Danielle. Now I'm going to say the new Danielle. Not put myself in a box like that. But new Danielle.
Excuse me, but that goes back to what I was saying about the MS thing.
Right.
About not realizing what we're saying because we don't realize what we're saying at times. And I know this is totally different.
It's actually not, though. I think that it's right on. I think it's right on time to what she's saying, because she's I shouldn't speak for you, but Danielle, I think what you say, I think what I'm hearing you say, and I stutter sometimes and I get crazy too. I think what you're saying is sometimes I get so riled up that it just be like, and I sometimes get that way too. So I think it's the same, Archie.
Yeah, that I hated to cut it off when we were talking about President Obama, but we were speaking earlier about that's a type of flare up with the MS thing that me and you were speaking of earlier.
Right.
You say certain things not realizing what you're saying.
Right.
Nah, that's just the point I had.
But I won't trying to get off track though. But
I think we're on track. We're
good.
Okay. No, we're good.
But it's like that issue is so deep. It's so deep. It's so many avenues I can take going to that.
Right.
But the problem is like, oh my gosh, like the different avenues you can take with our people. Like we get somewhere in one place and you can point the finger here and there and everywhere, and I'm gonna try to sum it up, but like I'm so angry, it make me so mad. I see so much, and it's like, it get me so frustrated, and I be over in the corner, like I just be and I can't take. I got to turn off the TV. I just got to not look at Facebook, because I be over there just stressed and anxiety just work up in me, and I get to crying and everything. I be like, my people, please get it together. But I'm like, I want to see us rise, because I'm like, if all these other groups can get it together, why can't we? Man. I know it's so much holding us back. Other people can come over here from other countries and benefit from what the government has set up for them, and they prosper from it and can build their little communities where our communities once were, and rise and just all of a sudden boom boom boom, there go their whole thing just building on up, and we still in this one little spot.
Right.
I know we got a lot to fight against, but I look at our history. We are strong people. Our ancestors are strong, and I just look at that, because ain't nobody like us.
Right.
Ain't nobody like us. That's how I look at it. We strong for a reason. Mm-hmm. We build from nothing, and we've always done it. And if we did it back then, we can still do it now. That's how I look at it.
Exactly.
So no matter what scraps we've thrown, we've always been able to take that little pebble and make something huge out of it. And so many people that lost their way, and we getting so brainwashed with a whole bunch of crap, and we letting that just take over everything, and we waiting for things to be given to us. Let's stop doing that. We need to take it back, learn from the history. Mm-hmm. When I was in high school, there were so many people that I saw, like, you had your little Black History moment in February, but at the same time, the little bit that they give us, there were so many students I would see that would sit there and like, we would have, like, we had this seminar one time, not a seminar, but a we had these group of people that came that did an African dance. And I'm like, oh, I take pride in my people, and I take pride in what they do. And I'm used to people taking pride. But it was so shameful to see, and I'll never forget this day, that I saw our own people teasing them, making fun of them. And they had to stop the assembly. And the white people got to talk to them to get them in check. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I felt so embarrassed and ashamed. And at the time, my boyfriend was the bully of the school. He like stood up, because we about it, you know. And he stood up and was like barking at everybody, like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
You know, and I'm like, what is happening to us?
Let me piggyback on that, Danielle, because you reminded me of something that I wanted to talk about tonight, and I forgot until just now something that you said. And I'm going to ask a question about me. I want you guys to answer, and I want our listeners, 804-402-2893. I never, ever, ever ask folks to send comments specifically on a subject, but on this next thing that I'm going to ask after this, I want you to jump in, and I'll tell you again, but I guess that's my brain going scattered. There's nothing wrong with MS brain. We all get scattered sometimes and ramble. But y'all see these crazy ass black people on Facebook last week when we saw Harriet Tubman's going on the $20 bill and all the inappropriate nonsense that people was putting out? Let me just say this. That shit ain't funny.
Cause
it's not funny.
I'm not even going to talk about that. I'm just going to let
it's
that ride.
It's not funny.
I'm going to let that ride.
It's not funny. People, it's not funny. You mean to tell me you think it's funny to say her ugly ass on a $20 bill?
Oh, no, see,
people think that's funny?
That's crazy, bro.
We're going to take a slave master off and put her on,
but he's
and that's your response.
And they're going to put him on
and
the
they're
back.
Put him on the back.
Put him on the back.
I get that there is no greater source of pride and athleticism and intellect and humor and everything great than the black community. And I feel strongly about that. Everything great comes from us, and all you have to do is look at a real history book, and you know a lot of the things that were invented by us, but because we were in bondage, we didn't get credit for it.
Exactly.
Inventions come from people who have hardship. And when you got people working for you and doing things for you, you don't have no hardship.
Yeah.
And so another discussion for another day. But even humor comes from us. So I get why you want to make jokes.
Dang.
But those jokes weren't funny, people.
No, that's not funny.
It just is not funny to talk about Harriet Tubman that way and anybody.
That's disrespectful.
Yeah. I mean, you see the pictures, during the holidays, then when they have Martin Luther King, in gold chains and gold teeth to sell the January 15th parties that they're gonna have. It's like Danielle, you were saying a minute ago, like, what is wrong with us, man?
Yeah.
What is wrong with us? Because we are in a position in this country, in this world now, where we have the kind of resources where we can do anything that we want to do.
Exactly.
All we have to do is work together. All we have to do is have group economics and put our money together and put our minds together. And we can do anything that we want to do. And, we get so caught up in trying to put out stuff that's not even important. Like the whole talk this morning was about Beyonce and Lemonade. And hey, look, I get it. I get it. She's a singer. Everybody likes her. Talking about Jay cheating on her and all of that. Hey, look, I get it. But let's not be stupid. She put her record out on his record label. Yeah. You think that he didn't know what she was going to say?
Exactly.
And they somewhere chilling, laughing at y'all dumbasses for thinking that she's calling him out.
Right.
So I know that's not what we talking about. But I got scattered. Ain't no have Steppin with Mark J. Last question I want to ask, and this is where I want Archie. You got something, brother?
No, I was saying you're on point. I was just saying you're on point.
Okay, got you.
Before you go there, I seen this thing with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and they said they got Jay-Z and Beyonce in this picture, and Jay-Z say they're gonna think I'm cheating on you though, and then Beyonce say, right, that's what we want them.
Yeah,
that's what we want them.
That's the master plan.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we want them to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's all about money, man.
Yeah.
Because real talk, if it was if it's that open and if it was that serious, then she would have left him.
Exactly.
Right.
But even if he is cheating on her,
So
it's
what?
not that serious to her, else she would have left him.
Right.
Yeah,
But I don't have Jay-Z or Beyonce being the type of people that'll put that type of business in the streets.
Exactly.
I
That's the whole
don't
point.
have that.
That's the whole point, Archie.
They've been so private about everything
Everything.
because we still don't know for sure that they married. We just
We still, hey, look, we still waiting for the word on Will and
And
Jada.
I don't have Jay-Z
I don't see no
having
pictures.
an affair, even though him and
Beyonce.
Dame Dash
Oh yeah,
had a falling out. I don't have him having an affair with his ex-wife.
yeah.
I don't see him being that guy. Now, you do have creeps like that out here.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But I just don't see him being that type of guy.
Yeah. And even if he did, and Beyonce knew about it, the ultimate point is, if she knew about it and she wrote a record, she didn't surprise him with them words that came out
Exactly.
on them songs. You know, so I mean, and I saw another meme. You know, and I might take a little bit of heat for this, but I'm just telling you what the meme said. Basically said that this married woman is selling, leave your man, single chicks, go be single. You know what I mean? Like, all the single ladies and, he's doing me dirty and I'm empowered. Like, he's selling that to the single ladies who want a man. Meanwhile, she going home to hers.
Yeah, I seen that meme. Yeah,
You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's crazy to me. Ain't no half Steppin, Marcus J. Live from Den, Legacy and everybody. All right, last thing I want to get to in this segment, and I need y'all to check me. I need the listeners and I need the crew to check me. Here's why. I've got a friend of mine who is a white female conservative who was very unhappy with me about a post that I put out. And I went back and forth with her, and she's deleted her comments, so you can't read them. And that's the only reason why that I'm doing this, because, nobody knows who she is. If her comments were there in social media, then I wouldn't even be bringing this up. But I'm bringing it up because some of the things that she said struck a chord with me. So if you're listening right now, I will read your comments anonymous if you don't want your name out there. If you want to call in anonymous, 804-402-2893, whether you agree with me or not, because I really want to know. I put a post up, and here it is. I'm going to read it to the listeners, but to the crew, I'm showing it. Just eyeball it now. I'm going to go back and read it. Basically, it's a picture of President Barack Hussein Obama sitting on a rock looking over the water. And the caption here is not his words. It's just a picture of him that says, quote, "Here comes the most dignified, intelligent, and thoughtful American president of modern times. He arrives as a reminder that amid Tea Party craziness and Trumpery and historical slanders, racist smears, and savage politics, a man cannot just survive and thrive, but walk tall without descending into the gutter with his opponents." End quote. I posted that photograph, and then I added my own caption. My caption says, "All those nice things said about him in this meme, and some folks going to disagree and hate because of politricks." Politricks, basically many tricks, politics. "Still waiting for someone to tell me why all the hate, or do we already know?" That's what I said. And this person was very upset with me and called me a race baiter, and they said that essentially it's people like me is the reason why we can't have progress with regards to race in our country. And so I want to know, now mind you, this is a white female conservative. I respect her opinion. I consider her a sister of mine because we've had great conversations. We agree on very little, but she's still someone that I consider a friend and a sister. So we're not going to be disrespectful towards her. I want to talk about the things that she said. I want to know if she's tripping or am I tripping? And I think that's a fair question to ask because, we often speak in settings and forums like this to like-minded people. What I want is a purely objective position here because I've thought about that. I've been called a race baiter. I've had people inbox me. I've been called the N-word and all that kind of stuff. But this was someone who was legitimately upset with someone that they cared about. And she even said that it was beneath me to say those things. So I want to know, who's tripping? Is it me or her?
Her.
I'm on your side on that because I'm a fan of Obama. I agree with all of that. So,
is it as simple as being a fan of Obama, or would it be appropriate for someone in my position as a social commentator and an internet radio host and an activist, some would call me, to actually have an opinion about the president of the United States and how he's been treated. Because I'll read to you my first comment, because she suggested that the last president, President Bush, took some heat. And so my response was that I don't think the venom is the same. They didn't attack President Bush's color, his religion, his birthplace, his wife, his children, just his intelligence because he was a C student, and his decision making because of Iraq. It's not the same, which is what I said. So I realize that I may be preaching to the choir, and listeners, 804-402-2893 is the number. But like I said, I just want to know, objectively speaking, am I tripping? I mean, is it too much for me to say those things?
I think everybody has their own opinion. You know, me personally, I'm not a big Obama fan. That just goes, for me, I don't trust politics. There's nothing against Obama, the person. It's just like, I'm not big on politics. I just don't trust him because it's all fake to me. But you have your own opinion. And it don't make you a racist or nothing. Or that's just your opinion on the man. I mean, that's, you know, I'm assuming that's who you voted for. You believed in him. And that's, you know what you believe in. You know, I mean, she tripping.
I think that we would. I think a lot of the problem that I see, me personally, is that we oftentimes will be nasty towards people who we disagree with.
Yeah.
Because I disagree with you politically, then I'm going to call you a monkey and have a picture of a person hanging from a tree. That's how I'm going to show that I disagree with you politically. And my next response to her was long. I won't read the whole thing, but you know, I basically said that I've heard, you know, people call me that before, and I think talking about folks who bring up race and showing them what they're doing is not race baiting. Putting it in their face and showing fearlessness and responding to the race discussion. How you going to have reverse racism without first having racism?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so I wanted to bring that up. I wanted to talk about that. You know, we're not getting a lot of feedback on that, but I just want to, you know, that's fine. We're not getting feedback on it. That's fine. But Hakeem says that he's not sure how she arrived at that opinion, and he thinks that she was overreacting. I think that you guys are, you know, obviously agreeing with our brother Hakeem on that. All right, you know, nobody else has anything on it, then we're going to go ahead and move on. Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J, live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to dedicate most of the rest of the show to our brother Prince. So I'm sure the folks in the room will have opinions. Been playing songs, we're playing music all night. We're going to continue to do that. Marcus J and the crew, Ain't No Half Steppin' with yours truly. Get ready, y'all. We're going to talk Prince for the rest of the night.